Welcome to another episode of Ranking Races. I'm Panda, and today's episode we're checking out Fuel and Onrush. And here's our current ranking. So we're not going to go for them all here, but as you can see, Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS is in first place, followed by Blur, and then Team Sonic Racing. So those are three top places. Actually, a few games have dropped down to the bottom. We've got Beach Buggy Racing for the Switch, and Need for Speed Carbon, the Wii version, at the bottom. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean they're bad. All the games on here have some merit and are good, depends on what you're after, but we're here to decide where do they rank. And as I said in previous episodes, I have currently over 100 racing games on the list to get through. So, and we've got a few done, but we've still got a way to go. So let's check out Fuel and Onrush today, and we're going to start with Fuel. Check it out. Right, our first race is a stormy one. We're in a buggy, and if you're just watching this now, I've actually just done this race and recorded it, but unfortunately I left something on the screen, so here we go again. I'll give you that behind the scenes bit there. So yeah, overall I think the main things you'll notice with Fuel is that very messy when it comes to graphics and the effects. Like now, like we're meant to be in a storm, but it's just very noisy on the screen. Can make it hard to see. Now, there's two ways of knowing where to go in this. You can either have this annoying red arrow that keeps flashing and the beam of light. I like the beam of light because it's like, oh, I know where the next checkpoint is, but the red arrows are annoying. Now, it depends on what track you're doing. Some of the tracks are just too difficult to know where you're going without the red arrows. Like, you can easily get lost. This one's not as bad, so I think this first race we can actually turn it off and hopefully we can make it through. Like I said, you can turn it on and off on the fly, so that's pretty helpful if you suddenly get a little bit lost. I'm a bit like, oh, where am I going next? Like now. Okay, I'm around here. The vehicle's a bit hit and miss on how well they handle. This buggy's not too bad. I'm getting lost a little bit now. Here we go. The buggy doesn't handle too bad, but I think like some of the motorbikes, if I remember right, don't handle well. And in this video we'll show off a few of the different vehicles. Now, I have done a live stream of Fuel as well. You can also check out on the channel if you want some more footage of it. But yeah, I think it was the motorbikes that fell off. And like I said, the tracks are hit and miss. Like, you can get some tracks like this one. This seems one of the better tracks and events. But you can get other ones where it's like a bit confusing where you're going, or just sometimes you just get like some very annoying things. You like here you can avoid those items, but sometimes you get items you didn't even see, like maybe a tree's fallen down and you're racing down a hill and you don't see it, and it kind of sets you back and like you lose the flow. But I love the idea of a post-apocalyptic racing game. I don't think this is as bad as people say. It's just not as not quite as engaging. I feel like I always play this, I feel like I enjoy it to start with, and then it becomes a little bit annoying. But we'll do 3 different races, we'll show off some different vehicles, and then we can decide where it goes on the list. It does have vibration, but it's a little bit hit and miss when it wants to do it. But that's probably a good thing secretly, otherwise it might be very annoying if it was vibrating all the time. And like I was saying before, I think they're like the world and locations are like cool, but even though it's meant to be post-apocalyptic, it still feels a little bit dead. Like occasionally I'll have like, oh, that gonna class that as missed? Yep. And that's one of the annoying things. Doesn't even tell you if you missed a checkpoint. I can just see it flash on the map. Well, that didn't happen the first time. Right, we've got that one. Next one. That's just one example of something that's annoying as well. Like, you could, like, miss the checkpoint just slightly and not count. I'm more of a person who likes racing games a little bit more forgiving on how you get through the checkpoints. And it'll be easier to catch up now. AI... Oh my goodness me, I'm doing worse this time. The AI a little bit hit and miss as well. Like I said, that map isn't the easiest to read either. Also, there's no options that just UI on the screen. So that's a little bit frustrating because everything seems to be like it's sort of being pushed in the middle. I don't know, on the outside it feels weird, like it's taking up your riding space. That was the first race. Now we're gonna jump over to another race. So next up is a race with a motorbike. I thought I'd show off what it's like with a motorbike. So that's the good thing about some of these games. Do have multiple vehicles. At least it's not like, hey, this is a game where you're just playing as bikes or just as cars. So I appreciate that. That's a plus. But you know the old saying, sometimes a jack of all trades, no one's all right at everything, but not particularly good at one thing. That's kind of how this game feels sometimes. As you can tell, we've got less storm effects now, but you can tell really showing up the jaggies and just a bit. I don't know. It's like that era of Xbox 360 where everything was a different shade of brown. So, which I know is the post-apocalyptic feel, but like sometimes you get like post-apocalyptic games have like a good, like still a colorful vibe or interesting details. Say like with Fallout series, for example, like some of those really go for, not the best example, but you know what I mean, goes for like, here's all these well-known like fake brands or something, just something that pops for the era and that. So obviously there would usually be music, but we've not got it on because we don't get DMCA'd. But it's just usual, like sort of rockish licensed music you'd expect. So I think for the open world bit would have been good for like have a radio. Where's our next check right there? So it's not too bad we're doing this without that red arrow. We seem to be doing alright. Like I said, these bikes do not feel great though. Urgh. So the cameras and stuff have been fine. I don't know if there's some different camera angles actually we can check out. Oh, that's how you reset. That's the pause. Oh, there we go. We've got some different cameras here. Let's click on the right stick. Oh, I don't think you would play as that. That's too bouncy. But you've got this one. A very close-up one, which I'm not quite sure why you'd have that. I think that one's probably your best bet there. Whoop. Like I said, there's an open world bit, but you can easily just choose a location and go, hey, I want to do this race. That's the plus, because open world bit, not very exciting to explore. I know there's like some hidden collectibles, but not really worth it. It's not like one of those games where you're like, whoa, look at this cool location I've had. Okay, over there. You see, sometimes you just need to hit that location thing on because the track is not as clear as it could be. Most locations are this sort of look and color to them, so like, this is technically a different zone from the first race we showed off. And for the next race, I'll try and find like a bigger vehicle to show off. Where am I going now? There. Ah, crumbs. You see what I mean? The red arrows just want to send you. That was a good example actually where not very clear where to go. Like I said, you can't really read the map because all the yellow arrows are on top of it. And now because I had one mistake, I've fallen a bit behind, which is what I mean. This AI is a bit all over the place. Try and get around here. I think the sound effects are fine. They're inoffensive, but they're not anything to write home about. What's the next one? Here. And there you go. Boom, another race done. So yeah, that bike one wasn't as exciting or felt as good as that buggy one. So we're gonna hop over to our last final race and then we'll decide where it ranks on our list. And here we go, here's our last race. We're going to show off fuel. And like I said, got ourselves a monster truck. Let's see how this is going to handle. Like I said, it's good for the diversity, but and even that fan of camera, like, it's gonna be a little bit trickier to see. Not much rumble going on though. It is a bit strange, it lacks the rumble. Where we're going. Okay, let's just follow this path and see where it goes. But I actually did find a location that's a little bit lighter and brighter. But very muddy textures here. I think because you can see so far in the distance, those mountains look like don't look good. And on this show we play some old games, different games, but you have to take into consideration when did the game come out and like what it should look like doing. No, I don't know what that truck in the front's doing. It was like jumping up and down the spot. But there is some goodness to this game. I'm not here to like slam a game down or make it seem bad or something. I'm pretty good for being open and like trying to see the best of stuff. This just lacks something. It's a shame because there's so much potential here. Like I love the idea. A part of me does want to play some more at some point, do you mean? I'm not opposed to not returning to it. Just not high on my list. Like I said, I think if that map was a little bit better, it didn't have to have all the other arrows on blocking where you were viewing. And maybe a little bit more zoomed in so you could see which path you were going down. Turning here. Monster... Oh man, they took a shortcut. I should have done that. Monster truck doesn't feel like a monster truck though. Feels surprisingly quite gentle. Okay, here's an example where the red arrow is just having whatever field day. I just wish you could have those red beams. Just the red beams. And we know we're going there. Oh. And this thing is slow though. Okay, up there, that's fine. I mean, everything looks a bit washed out, like really high contrast. So it's not just my settings or the TV. Like, I've played a lot of different games, I mean, with this setup, so I know it's not that. This game just has it's very washed out, high contrast. I don't mean washed out like as in the color. I know it's not like washed out in like traditional sense, but definitely like just muddy. I think it's jaggy as well. This is jaggy central, so if you're not a person that's too fussed about graphics, like obviously if something looked terrible like polygon boxes or something, then I'd understand. But if you can look past the graphics, then I think you could find like some fun to have here. A little bit rough around the edges, that's all. Right. Okay, we're near there. Yeah, most of these have been like checkpoint races. You do get like different styles of races and events. Like I said, I prefer the event ones, like that storm was just a little bit more exciting than this, where it's just a bit like this bit, like it's just really dull. Like it probably looks dull and it plays a bit dull, this bit, so it's not as engaging. Doing. Oh, how's he just passed me? Right. Wow. And this AI sometimes. And this is the other thing as well, like if you suddenly just come second, it's like, oh, tough sticks, no points for that. Doing. Yeah, see, your reward, nothing, just because we didn't come first. So that's the other problem. I think that's one of the reasons why you fall off, because all the time it's like, you've got to come in first place, and like when you lose first place just from a little thing like that, it's a bit frustrating. Let's get our list up now. You can see our current rankings there. I'm really torn on this. I was tempted to put it just slightly higher than Beach Buggy Racing. Beach Buggy Racing just has that, you can jump in like it's a kart racer style racing game. So this is obviously subjective to how you feel about these games. It kind of, because it feels a bit like a mobile phone game, because it was in a port. But at the end of the day, like, this is just rough around the edges with some issues. Like, I mean, like, you can have some fun in those races, and if you win, but I feel like getting cheated out of winning and the races being quite long is a bit of a downer thing. Overall look, just like, it didn't look good at the time when it came out, and it's definitely not aged well. So I think we're going to have to stick it below Beach Buggy Racing. I was so torn when I started this video. I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to stick it, but I am going to have to stick it slightly below. I'll be back in 1 second. So there you go. There's fuel's at the bottom, unfortunately, there, but it's still fun. Like I said, you can have fun. It's just got one too many issues that stops it from being higher up on the list. So we're going to hop over to Onrush next. See you in a second. Right, so now we're checking out Onrush. So this is a off-road racing game, but without the racing as such. You are like competing against each other, but this one is for score. So if you bash the fodder, these are just like enemy cars that just drive around. Or if you manage to take out an enemy, and by different things you can get points, and that builds up score. Now there's different modes, so we're showing the Overdrive mode here. Obviously you can change vehicle. Each vehicle has different abilities as well. Cars handle great. They are a little bit more floaty, but I think that helps with the combat, like hitting the other cars, these jumps. This is by the same team that bought this motor store. Hopefully I said that right. So yeah, Overdrive, this mode's about getting the best score. You can choose like various length matches. Like I've chose for this video to do short matches, so we're not here all day. Just so I can give you a quick look. But there's different modes as well. We'll check out Switch, which is like a mode where if you get taken out, you all start as motorbikes, and then when you get taken out, you're a slightly bigger car, and then you're like a truck at the end. You just want to try and stay alive. So ideally you want to be as bike as long as possible. And then we'll check out Lockdown, which is a mode where you kind of, it's like King of the Hill situation. You gotta like hold a point and keep it captured. Okay, let's focus here. You can see there's lots of different vehicles, speed boosts, you can do stunts, rolls. So it's easy to see who's on your team, who's on the enemy team, and these small little cars with the white outline just help build up your speed boost and your special as well. Oh. Obviously, like larger cars can take down smaller ones, but they're not as agile. You gotta make that decision there, and hopefully you'll see my special in a second. Now we're going to rush mode. Obviously, for DMCA reasons, we haven't got any licensed music playing, but music's pretty good in this game. Plus, when you use a rush mode, there's a great song that plays for that as well, that really gets you into the mood. So here I just want to try and get some good combos. So I would say this is the more chaotic mode with less guidance, so I feel like there's a mode for everyone in here, so it's good. And there's a great selection of tracks, actually. Like, these sort of levels remind me of Excite Truck with these big jumps. Oh. Also, if you fall too far behind, it will happily send you forward to catch up, so kind of the way how it's dealt with the rubber banding in this, like always making sure you're in the action and not just like driving by yourself. Very customizable game. There's lots of like different decals, liveries, what's called tombstones. So if you die, you like drop this like icon behind. Oh yes, we got a round victory there. And even a match is split into rounds, so it gives you like these little like, oh, we scored, we won one round, and you roll right into the next round. There's no stopping going next round or saying, it's just like, nope, keep on going. Okay, so this is that catcher I was talking about. Gonna drop me right in the action here. Nice, quick and smooth. Plays really well. I really like the look of it. I think it's got some really bright colorfuls and some bright colorful environments and some great things. So this one I'm using, I think if anyone gets caught in my wave behind me, they'll get blown to one side. Now if I do die, I'll show you a different vehicle as well. Now I don't actually know if I have a preference. Whoop. Some bonus points there for a barrel roll. I don't actually have a preference on mode. I kind of feel like I quite like the switch mode because you're like trying to hold on to being a motorbike for the longest. It makes it more like, especially when everyone else is like turning into trucks and you're like the last bike standing. You're like, oh no, I want to stay as a bike. So that adds to how intense it can be. And I quite like Lockdown as well. I've always liked King of the Hill in other games, but I just like how they put these modes that you usually see in another game into a race game. Let's show you what a big truck looks like. Oh, did I choose in time? Yeah, I did. I think it could do with a few more tracks. But that's my main criticism thing. And I think like a normal race mode would have helped people be a little bit more on board with this game going, oh, at least there's still some normal races doing. I think all these objective and different modes doesn't quite sit well with everyone, unfortunately. Which is a shame because I'm a big fan of any game, even first-person shooters that have got objective modes in. I just prefer it. Prefer when it's like a mission or something to do. So, but I think adding a normal race mode wouldn't have done any harm just to add it in. So that's my only disappointment, really. That and there's not as many people were playing it to play online, but oh well, we lost that one. That's close. They only got 3-2. Right, I'm going to load up into our next round, so we're going to check out the switch mode. Okay, in switch mode, like I said, you've got 3 lives. You want to try and stay as this bike as long as possible. Now, what I just noticed, you can choose from all the different tracks in custom mode. You can choose the time of day, but you can even choose the weather. Like, I've never seen this level in the snow before, so you can choose the weather, how the weather changes, the time of day. So I think that adds a lot of variety, because usually this is quite like a deserty looking level, but chose to have it in heavy snow. So I was just curious to see what it looked like. So you can go pretty wild with the Saints, it turns out. So because usually when I play this game, I've just been playing the online mode, so sometimes you don't see quite all the variations of tracks, but it's cool how they put these in here. Now, they did add some tracks post-launch, but they were all free, so this is one of those post-launch tracks. But they were all free, they were in an update, so that was good. That way didn't split the user base. I think they did well for doing that. As you can tell, you can see how many lives everyone's got on their bars at the top. They got little segments, like if they've got a full green bar, they're still as a bike. But if you lose a life, then you turn into like a medium-sized like buggy type thing. And then if you lose all your lives, you end up as this big truck and you got to try and take down the other team. So you kind of want to like survive, but also take down the opposing team as well. Ooh, oh, Grumps. Oh, did I recover? Oh no, but if you fall too far behind as well, we've got to switch. Okay, I really need to catch up here. No, 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 no. Ah. That's a shame. So now we get to choose one of these. I like Vortex. That puts like this wave behind you like that guy was just in there. Also, there's a bunch of different team names as well, so I've changed them up as well. But yeah, everything is team-based as well. Forgot to mention, yeah. It's definitely more team-based thing. There is no, like, doing this event solo. But the AI seems pretty good, and when you play on live, there's not enough people. Usually fills in the spots with AI as well, so that's quite good. Okay, so I died again, so I have to go to the next big truck. So I still technically, I'm on my last life now. I'm still technically in. Even when you lose all your lives, you're just a big truck, and you've got to try and take down the opposing team then. But you've got to make sure someone's still alive on your team. But sometimes I've survived all the way to the end as a bike, and sometimes you don't. It all depends on the track and how, let's say, how aggressive your enemy is. Like I said, weather effects in this look great. Like everything, it's just a good looking game. A good looking game that's crossed with like, plays really well. And it is one of these more modern games that has got like a, you want, prefer graphics mode or performance mode, do you mean? I've got a performance mode because for a racing game, I really feel like a good frame rate takes higher priority, but it all depends on what your preference is. Right, let's see if we can try and take someone down. Whoa. Oh, it's got quite a spin in there. Yep, let's do it. Let's rush. But yeah, I think it's a game definitely worth picking up, so we'll have to have a look at my list and see where we think it's going to come. It doesn't fit into like the traditional racing, so I know this will be a more controversial game on the ranking of races list. That's like a blockade attack that someone else has used. Looks like these energy blocks up. Oh, come on. And it even tells you where targets are. It's like targets ahead. Like if you go too far forward and there's no one ahead of you to take down, I'll tell you. Also, it kind of works like in a first-person shooter where it's like if you take down an opponent, it says how many times they took you down and how many times you've taken them down. I think that's a nice touch. Like all the experience points, everything in this kind of has the feel of first-person shooter, but if it was a car racing game. Like some of the mechanics obviously it doesn't have shooting and stuff in, but everything from like how you get the experience points to, like I said, who tells you who's defeated who, do you mean? What? There's speed boost up here. Oh no. Like I'm falling behind a little bit here. This is like a weird UFO alien level. I always forget about all the details in the background. I think there's an alien battle going on. Let's try and catch up now. Take down some of our opponents here. But yeah, I like this fodder idea. It's kind of like an idea like they did in Titanfall. Like have some AI running around that's easy enough to defeat but helps keep the flow up. Oh, that's a nice touch. Right, man. Oh no, I'm the last one standing. But no pressure. Also, those are large enemies ahead. I think they're just ones that can take you down. They're not. Oh no. Well, that's how it goes so far. I'm not doing so well in this video, but hey, I'd like to give an honest view of this. I'm not gonna just like record races of one. Right, let's check out lockdown next. Right, next up is lockdown. So you just got to control the point to hold it. So like I said, a bit like King of the Hill or Domination or something, but it's got the one control point to hold. And like when you play online as well, another feature to mention is that you can choose like which vehicles are in the mode. So sometimes like it's bikes only or something. So it does add quite a variation, and you can do that in the custom games as well. I've just left all the vehicles on so you can see the variations. Oh, I got checked out though. But yeah, I think between this and Switch, I think this might be my favorite mode.
Zone captured.
I'll try and show some different vehicles off here in a minute as well. Like I said, some of these matches do go on longer. For the purpose of time, in this video I've just shown off what the short variations of each of those, but you can set short, medium length, or long length as well. If you really want a really long, grueling battle of lockdown, you can. Ooh.
Zone captured.
But yeah, this is another mode as well. It does like the rounds as well, so you get a bit of a breather. Like, as soon as you capture and hold it, like gives you a few seconds before it starts all over again. Oh, oh no, I don't do too well here. Oh no, just lost that one. Okay, let's see if we can try and head up here and get it. But yeah, I think all the vehicles handle great. They suit the style of the game. It's definitely a very arcadey, easy to pick up one. Oh, crumbs. There's different ways to get destroyed. Like you can do like landing on top of someone and taking them down, or a side swipe or something. Okay, circles behind me. Yes. you can accidentally, let's say, drive too fast and go too far forward. Oh, have we got it? We've got to hold it for so long. Come on. Ah, no, too many orange in here. That's what I like about this mode as well. Like, sometimes you could be like a bit of a battle going on to try and hold it. Oh, no, 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 no. Ah, there wasn't enough blue in there to stop them. Oh, even at the moment. Ah. Let's show what some of these look like now. Let's go for this one. So they're all different roles. Some are like tanks, some are like support roles. Like some of these are like, oh, when you're racing near other players, you can help build up their rush bar. And the rush bar is that special meter that fills up for you to use your special. Even if we're racing it, if somehow managed to fit in different classes. Oh, I got ground pounded there. And this is great fun by yourself or with some friends. I mean, if you found a good group of friends to play as a team, let's go as this Titan. One of the bigger ones. Oh no, why are we going to lose this again? I thought we were going to do it this time. Oh, why is it in a game I love? I've lost 3 times in a row on this. Never mind. I think that might be its only criticism. I think you could go either way pretty quickly. That's the thing, so it's a great laugh. Anyway, let's bring up our list and see where we're going to put it. So here we go. So far only fuel has been added to the list today, and it went right on the bottom, unfortunately. So I believe I've had to think about this, and I would put Onrush between Team Sonic Racing and Speed Racer, which would put it in 4th place. I think that's fair. I think based on like the type of gameplay, the fun, but some of its issues, and the fact that it doesn't have a pure like normal racing mode. But yeah, I think that's where I put it. But you can also let me know where you'd put it. So we're gonna quickly add it to the list. So there you go. We've added Onrush to our list there, so it's in 4th place there. But if you think it should be somewhere else, remember this is just my opinion, and my own personal science of deciding where to rank them. But if you think it should be somewhere different on the list, let me know. I'm curious always to hear where people feel about these racing games and where they should go. So yeah, please feel free to make your own list and let me know and share them in the comments, because I definitely look forward to reading them and seeing where you'd put some of these racing games in the list. So yes, thank you very much for joining me for another ranking of races. We're getting there slowly. This list is getting longer. I've actually had to shrink the text size a little bit to fit them on, so I dread to think when we get to 100 how small the text is going to be. Might have to make it 2 rows. And yeah, that's going to do it. So thank you very much for joining me. Remember to like and subscribe. Hit the bell for get all notifications for new videos. And thank you to our patrons. And we'll see you next time on Ranking of Races. Bye.